והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. Okay, so the idea of reincarnation, I hope that all of you heard about it. Everyone heard about reincarnation? We spoke about it a long, long time ago. We spoke about it 2 years ago. 2 years ago, actually 2.5 years ago. But we didn't go on into what we're going to go today. So today, Be'ezrat Hashem, I'm going to try, with the short time that we have, I'm going to try to explain what is a reincarnation. Then what is the purpose of reincarnation? We're all talking about reincarnation, but it must be a person. It must be a purpose, sorry. And the third part that we're going to speak about, the ones that we understand what's the purpose, what did we come to do? What did we have to fix? What is the idea behind of the reincarnation? So what is a reincarnation? So I'm going to start with what Hazal tell us and what the Chachmei Kabbalah. Chachmei Kabbalah is the Kabbalistic Rabbi explained to us what is a reincarnation. And I'm going to start with a story that the Midrash tell us regarding Iyov. Iyov is Job. Everyone heard about Job. Nachon? Job, I don't know how many of you know the story of Job. Iyov have a lot of money. Iyov have many kids. And he lost them all. He lost all of his money, become poor. Iyov lost his kids, and he have a bald on his body. But Hazal tell us that he used to scratch his body with ceramic pieces of stone. That until one day, the Midrash say that Job asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I know that I'm a righteous man. How come that I have so much sorrows? Why do I have to suffer so much? That's the question that Iyov asked HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Midrash say. HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered Iyov, and he said to him like this. And he said to him, in the book of Iyov, if you look at the book of Iyov, in chapter 38, verse 4, HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered Iyov like this. Efo hayita beyosdi aretz. Where did you was when I created the world? In other words, did you know who you was in your previous life? That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked Iyov. Because Iyov asked him, why am I suffering so much? I know that I'm a righteous man. Why do I deserve all of those punishment? And especially say punishment because that's going to lead us to other answers that we asked earlier. So to make the story short, Demahahu, Rabbi Chaim Vital. Rabbi Chaim Vital was the main student of Ari HaKadosh. He born 475 years ago in Jerusalem, Demahahu, Rabbi Chaim Vital. And in the book Shara Gilgulim, okay, Ot, Het, there he explained who was Iyov. Not only that, the Ramah Mipano. Don't know how many of you remember the Ramah Mipano, Rabbi Menachem Azariah Mipano. He born 469 years ago. That means he born 6 years. Okay? Earlier than the Mahahu, he lived in Italy. And he also wrote the book Sefer HaGilgulim, the book of the reincarnation of the soul. And they both explain that Iyov was a reincarnation of Terah. Terah, you remember we read about him in a previous parsha. Terah was the father of Abraham. We all know. What was the job of Terah? Terah was an idol worshipper, number one. Terah was idol manufacturer. Terah was idol, not only idol worshiper, he used to sell the idols. That's mean, and the story tell, I don't know how many of you remember, that one day he needed to go for business, and he left Abraham to look after his shop. And Steve, you're laughing, But the Midrash said that Avraham Avinu destroyed all the idols. So when he came, he said to him, what's happened here? He said, you see that big man? He have a fight with all of them. So he beat all the idols. So Terach said to Avraham, but they can't move, they can't talk. He said, listen to what you're saying. You understand? So both the Rabbi Chaim Vital, the Maharhu, and the Ramah explain, and many of the Chachmei Kabbalah say that Eov was a reincarnation of Terach in a previous life. And when he came, you have to do a repentance to all the sin that he done. For the Avodah Zarah that he sold, the Avodah Zarah that he worshipped, and the Avodah Zarah that he manufactured. You have to do a repentance for it. So he couldn't understand how come in the present life that he was alive, Eov, he suffered so much. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed him who he was. He showed him a video. Hazal say in a Midrash. Do you understand? So then he realized who he was and he accepted his punishment. But Hazal said that after that, Eov gone back to who he was. He became rich again, he have children, and he got cured. And not only that, Hazal say, whoever received a coin or a penny from Eov become a rich man. That means that Eov done a repentance to his sin, and Eov was a righteous man. Okay. So we see from here, I've specially brought evidence to explain what is reincarnation. I'm going to bring now another research, not from the Torah. Ian Stevenson. Ian Stevenson only died 10 years ago. He was a researcher in a Virginia university. And one of his articles that he wrote many, but on one of his articles towards the end of his life, he proven that there is a reincarnation in the world. And not only that, he said that there is many other researchers, many other articles that other people wrote that prove that there is a reincarnation. So we all know that there is a reincarnation. But now we have to understand what is a reincarnation. We say a reincarnation. What is a reincarnation? We have to understand. So to understand that, we have to start with a neshama. Each one of us here have a neshama. And the neshama doesn't want to come down to earth. She's very happy up in heaven. Why? Because the neshama is something very spiritual. Here on earth, it's very physical. So it's very difficult for the neshama to come down to earth, to that physical world, because the neshama is very spiritual. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu put the neshama in a body and bring it down to here. Ari HaKadosh say that in his time, just remember he lived close to 475 years ago, 400, even more, close to 500 years ago. He said in his time, there is no more new soul. In his time, everyone is a reincarnation. And what does it mean? When we come to this world and we sinning, we're doing averot, that means that we actually caused a problem with the neshama. That means that we have to do a repentance. There is certain averot that when you go up to heaven, you can't even do tshuva for him. Because you all hear about Gehenna. Even Gehenna doesn't help. What does it mean? A person that stole money, or robbed someone, or murdered someone, and etc. There's certain averot that he can't do tshuva in heaven. He have to come back here. So this part of the neshama that being defected, you have to come and refix it. That means that certain mitzvot that a person do, the neshama go up to heaven. Part of it stay there, and part have to come down. Why? Because he can't do repentance up on heaven, for example, if he stole. Let's take the subject of stealing. If someone stole money from Mr. X, up in heaven he can't return back his stealing. He can't do repentance. And we're going to bring a story for us to understand. So to fix all of those defaults that he created in the soul, you have to come down to earth. Shimon, you understand?
Yeah.
If you don't understand, stop me, because you look like you're worried. Stop me. Okay? So what is reincarnation? It's a part of the neshama that have to come down to earth to do tshuva. You understand? That means that in a previous life he done averot and he didn't done repentance for that averot. After we understand what is reincarnation, we have to understand what's the purpose of it. What's the purpose of doing reincarnation? And many of the book of Sefer HaGilgulim, they explain when a person done a sin, for example, a man that have a physical relationship with a Gentile woman, okay, he will turn to a dog, his reincarnation as a dog, and etc. They explain that there's many explanations, but that's not the subject. The subject is, how do we know what to do repentance in this world? How do we find out? Because we understand what is it, a reincarnation. How do we do the tikkun that the neshama need? So, to understand that, Chachmei Kabbalah explained to us very simply that on the same thing that you find difficulty in this world, that the evil inclination work on you very hard, that's what you have to do repentance in this world. That means you come to this world to do a tshuva. For what? For what you've done in a previous life. There are certain people that for them, difficult, immorality. You understand what I'm saying? Other people come because they done all different averot, whatever is it. Whenever you find what you battle with it, that's your tikkun, and that's what you have to do repentance in this world for the neshama. That's how our sages and Chachmei Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic Rabbi, explained to us how do we know what we have to fix. But for us to understand that a bit more, I'm going to bring a story that's been told by the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Israel ben Eliezer, he born around 300 years ago. He born in Moldova. Moldova, it's Romania. He started the Hasidut movement in the world. And one of his students asked him a question. They arrived to Parashat Mishpatim, ואלה המשפטים אשר תשים לפניהם. And he said to him, I read the Zohar. And the Zohar speak about reincarnation. And here you're talking about, the Torah speak about Mishpatim, the laws. What's the connection? The Baal Shem Tov said to his student, tomorrow morning, after you finish to daven early, go eat breakfast and take with you enough food that will last you until the end of the day and something to drink. And I want you to go outside the city, and outside the city, you find a place to hide between the bushes by the river, outside the city. And I want you to sit behind the bushes. No one must see you. And whatever happens, you're not opening your mouth, you're not leaving your place. Whatever you see, just watch to the end. The Rebbe said the student have to do. The student wake up early morning, immediately daven, was excited, eat a quick breakfast, took with him something that can keep him, not hungry during the day, and something to drink, and he hid behind the bushes. He didn't have a chance even to settle behind the bushes. He hear a noise of a horse. And the next thing he see, a horse rider arriving. The horse rider arriving by the river, jump off the horse, drank from the fresh water, washed his face. He was so tired that he was sitting underneath the tree and he fell asleep for 2-3 hours. Suddenly he wake up, the horse rider, and he realized that he was sleeping for 2-3 hours, immediately jump on his horse and start riding and disappear. He didn't realize that he dropped his wallet. But the student saw that when he stood up, the wallet fell down. But he remembered that he's not allowed to shout, not allowed to say a word. He hid behind the bushes. While he's still thinking what's happened, if he was supposed to call the horse rider or not, another person arrived. Drank from the fresh water, washed his face, and the next thing he see a wallet. Opened the wallet, find money, look left, look right, front, back, couldn't see anyone, put the wallet in his pocket, you can see the smile on his face, and walked away. Half an hour later, the third character arrived, a poor person. Arrived, he was very thirsty, washed himself, drank, and lay down underneath the tree and fell asleep. While he was sleeping, the horse rider came back. Jumping off his horse, the poor person that was sleeping didn't even hear him. Jumping from his horse, kick him such a kick on the ribs, the poor person didn't know what's hit him. He said, "Why you hit me?" He said, "Where's my wallet?" He said, "What wallet?" And the horse rider was clapping him like you can't believe. "Where is my wallet?" He said, "What wallet? What are you talking about? You stole my wallet." He said, "I didn't steal any wallet. Search me." The horse rider searched him, searched his little sack that he carried with him, couldn't find the wallet. He was so cross, kicked him out, jumped on a horse, and started riding, disappearing. The poor person didn't understand what hit him, washed himself, was crying a bit, took the jug, filled up his jug with the fresh water, and walked away. It was just before sunset. The student decided, that's it, I need to run quick to shul, to daven minha. Run to shul, to Bet HaMidrash, daven minha. Daven Mariv. After Mariv, he came to the Rabbi, and he said to him, said to the Baal Shem Tov, "Listen, if I was confused yesterday, now I'm completely confused. I don't understand." So the Rebbe said to him, "No problem. Sit. Let's see what you saw today." So he said to him, it was 3 characters. The first character, let's call him Reuven, okay? For us to understand, that's the person that find the wallet. Shimon is the horse rider. Yehuda is the poor person. Okay, those are the names that we're going to give them. And the Rebbe explained to him, what you saw today, you saw that Reuven found a wallet. In the previous life, Reuven lent money to Shimon, that was the horse rider. But because Shimon, when it's come the time to pay the debt, couldn't pay the debt or didn't want to pay the debt, denied that he took money. Reuven, that lent the money, took him to court. The judge was the poor person. The judge asked Reuven, "You the lender, did you have witnesses that you lent money?" Reuven said, "No, I didn't." "Did you sign a document that Shimon lent money from you?" "No." He said, "In that case, I can't help you. And if I can't help you, Shimon is obviously unguilty and free." HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't forget, brought him back to life again. Brought the poor person, that was the judge. HaKadosh Baruch Hu turned him to poor person for whatever reason. Shimon, that was the horse rider that lost the money, that lost the wallet because he owed in a previous life the money to Reuven. Reuven got his money and walked away without harm. Now you're going to ask, why did Shimon have to beat the judge, the poor person? Nachon? The Baal Shem Tov explained, you know why? Because if he was a proper judge, he should do proper investigation to find out what's happened. And maybe he can find the truth and then give the money back to Reuven in previous life. But because he took the easy way out and he asked these witnesses, there is a document, he said no. He finished the judgment. He ruled the judgment in favor of Shimon. Came Shimon to beat him for that he have to come as a reincarnation. You have to get reincarnation to come back. So from here we see something very important, Rabotai. We see that the reincarnation, there is a reason to everything in life. But it's come to teach us something very important that many of us ask those questions. Many of us ask, how come certain things happen in life? I'm sure all of you asking. And I'll give you an example. And Philip, you work at the Have, that will help you sometime. Maybe that will help you to answer for people. Sometimes you see a young baby born. A month later, he passed away. Sometimes we see a teenager passed away. We don't know Hashbonot Shamayim, Rabotai. We can never know what HaKadosh Baruch Hu have. But one thing we know in Hazal tell us, that those souls have to come to this world to do tikkun. If he come for 1 month, that is tikkun. That is repentance. What does he have to do? How does he have to do? It's not for us. It's above us. But we have to understand that those souls that come to this world, and whatever happened with them, they have to do tikkun. They done their tikkun, their repentance. And a matter of fact, when a little baby born and after a month he died, what sin can he do? Nothing. For previous life, obviously, they have something to fix, to do repentance, and the judgment was to come to this world for 1 month. Why? Because they can't do any more averot. They have to come to this world to suffer the physical world, and after 1 month, the neshama go up to heaven. Yes, Lionel.
There's a reason for everything that happened.
Absolutely, that's what we're saying.
Do you believe that?
For sure. Yeah, that's what we're proving now. Not only that, we have to understand, look how HaKadosh Baruch Hu judge a person to the last, to the little detail. For example, the guy that denied the money, Shimon denied that he received the money from Reuven. No problem. How did HaKadosh Baruch Hu fix it? By that Shimon will lose his wallet. And when Reuven find the wallet, the same amount that he lost in a previous life, that was the money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Without interest, because we don't take interest in the Torah. So that means that when he lost his wallet and Reuven find it, that was the final tikkun. But the only problem is when we come down to do tikkun, we shouldn't do a new averot. You understand? That's the chokhmah. So now that we spoke in short, really I spoke in short, and I compressed, thank you, a shi'ur that can take 4 or 5 hours, and that's 20, 25 minutes for us to understand what is reincarnation. And what's the purpose of reincarnation? And how do we do atonement to reincarnation? So let's repeat. Reincarnation is spark of the neshama, or part of the neshama, that have to come to this world to do a tshuva. How do we know what is tshuva? Whatever difficult for us, whatever Yetzer Hara entice us to do, or certain mitzvot that we love to do, that's what we come to do, repentance. And when we see the thing is difficult for us, we have to understand, because previous life. One second, Shimon. So from here we understand that there is a reincarnation, number one. Number two, we understand not to ask too many questions. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu answer Iyov, Efo ha'ita beyosdi aretz? Where did you was when I created world? That means, did you know who you was in your previous life? So we come here to this world to do repentance. But the Chochmah, Rabotai, again I'm saying, to do repentance and not to do more averot. So we don't have to come again. You understand? Yes, Shimon.
Yeah, I just want to know, this happened to the great pious as well, or just only to the Jews?
This happening to?
Everybody.
Non-Jews.
No, listen. It's happened to everyone. If let's say Zuma steal from X, if especially say if because it's gone on the air, he have to pay. If steal from Zuma, if have to pay Zuma. How are you going to pay him? Okay. If rob Mr. X, how's he going to pay him? Do you understand what I'm saying? If someone murder, do you understand what I'm saying? How does he going to do repentance? Because up in heaven he can't do repentance. You understand me? So you have to come down to earth. He come in a different soul, he come in a different body, but part of the soul that he was all the time. So from here, yes, Philip.
The idea of Techiyat HaMeitim.
Okay.
Okay, so now, if a soul came down to earth, I don't know how many times, which body will it get?
Okay, so we spoke about it when we done Techiyat HaMeitim. You remember the show, but I'll answer you. You understand what Philip asked? Philip said, if there is such a thing as Gilgul Neshamot, like we've proven today, there is so many Neshamot. In which body that Neshama going to come? So there's few opinions. It's a very good question. So the opinions say that all the Neshamot going to become one Neshama, and it's going to go to the original body. Other opinion are so that each neshama, each part of those sparks that came in this body, that's what's going to come. So there's two opinions. But the most common opinion that you done a repentance to the neshama, and the neshama become now pure, and that will fill to the original body that it was. You understand what I'm saying? Hakon here?
Very evil people.
That tell me, a person that steals is not evil. A person that murder is not evil. Now there is no, how is he going to do repentance in heaven? He can't. Now the Rashaim that you're talking about, there is certain Rashaim she'en lahem halek le'olam haba. That's what you're talking about, nachon, if I'm not mistaken. Halek le'olam haba is something else. And there is certain people that not even get reincarnated. I don't want to scare you. They go to a place that's called Kafakela. You get there, you don't even know where you are. I don't want to speak about it. It's heavy. The neshama just all day, 24/7, there is the angel of fire, the angel of death. All of those, mashhitin, following the neshama, and the neshama just fly all over. Because they're beating her, they're causing her so much sore to the neshama, the pain, that you can't explain it. But leave it now, this is not. But what you're talking about, the normal person that done averot, that's why he come down to earth. Even a tzaddik, listen to that, even a tzaddik that never sinned, that doesn't have to come down as a reincarnation, he have to pass through Gehenna. If he hear Lashon Hara, even that he didn't, he just heard it. Because you hear Lashon Hara, Hazal say, that when he go through Gehenna, he doesn't enter Gehenna, he just feel the heat. And the heat make him scared. And that's the repentance. That's a different level, you understand? I would like to bless all of us that we came here because we know that there is no new neshamot like the Ari HaKadosh say. And not only that, I would like to bless all of us that we should do, please God, the repentance while we are alive, and we should not come back and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our days while we're still alive, and we do repentance, and we don't have to reincarnate again and again, and we'll see Mashiach, and then we'll see the rebuilding of the third temple, and everything will come back, please God, to what used to be when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam HaRishon, and then we're all going to have Nahas.